Hello and welcome to the Sleepy Astronomer. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe you're lying back beneath the quiet hum of your room, or letting the last thoughts of the day fade as the stars outside begin their slow drift. Wherever you are, this little space in the universe is for you. Together, we'll float through questions that have no rush, only wonder. Tonight, we ask one of the most hauntingly beautiful ones of all. What if the Big Bang happens again? Before we begin, take a slow breath. Let the world soften around you. This isn't a lecture, it's a calm voyage through time itself. If your eyes grow heavy, let them. That means the story is working. And if curiosity keeps you awake a little longer, that's all right too. You'll fall asleep with the universe still echoing softly in your thoughts. If you find peace in this quiet exploration, I'd be deeply grateful if you left a gentle like, or subscribed for more bedtime journeys among the stars. It helps others discover this calm corner of the cosmos. And if you'd like to help these stories continue, super thanks and channel memberships are beautiful ways to keep our sleepy explorations alive. Now, settle in. Let your mind drift beyond the stars, and imagine the universe taking one final breath, and beginning all over again. Before there was anything, there was stillness, not the kind of stillness you find in a quiet room, but something deeper. A stillness so complete that the idea of silence itself had not yet formed. You drift in it, weightless and unbounded. There is no before and no after. No light, no sound, not even darkness, because darkness, too, requires the idea of light. There is only a pregnant pause, the hush before the first breath of reality. Then, from within that endless calm, a tremor. It's not a sound, not yet, it's more like a thought forming in the mind of the void. And in that moment, the universe opens its eyes. A flash, not like fire, but like awakening. A sudden, impossible blooming of everything at once. The birth of space, the first heartbeat of time. The air you will one day breathe, the stars that will one day shine, all compressed into a single instant of becoming. You feel it surge through you, though you have no body yet, only awareness, expanding with it. You are part of the unfolding. The Big Bang is not an explosion, though that is how it's often told. Explosions destroy, this one creates. It is a great stretching, a soft, unstoppable exhale from nothing into everything. In less than a heartbeat, the universe grows from smaller than an atom to the size of a galaxy. It is still growing, even now, and you with it. Heat floods through the newborn cosmos, not a flickering warmth but an ocean of pure energy, trillions of degrees hot. Quarks, the smallest building blocks of matter, swirl and collide in an ecstatic dance. They don't yet know what they will become: protons, neutrons, atoms, and eventually you. For now, they are sparks in a boundless sea, learning the rhythm of existence. You drift among them, feeling their energy hum like a low, continuous song. There is no up or down, no here or there, only expansion. Time itself stretches with you, a ribbon unspooling from an infinite reel. Every moment feels like the first, and in a way, it is. For the universe, time has just begun. In this vastness, laws begin to take shape, invisible patterns that will govern how everything moves and changes. Gravity, the gentle pull that will someday bind galaxies together, whispers its first promise. The strong and weak nuclear forces awaken, holding particles close or letting them drift apart. Even light begins to find its path, though for now it moves through a fog too thick to see through. Everything is learning how to be. You imagine the heat cooling ever so slightly, and as it does, matter begins to form. Tiny nuclei appear, hydrogen, the simplest of all elements. Almost all of what will ever exist begins here, in this glowing cradle. Helium joins it, a little heavier, a little rarer, like a note added to a growing chord. These two, hydrogen and helium, are the universe's first words. Simple, soft, but full of promise. You float between them, watching creation unfold at a speed beyond comprehension, yet feeling only calm. There is no rush. Even as everything races outward at unimaginable pace, it feels slow, deliberate, like a flower blooming in the dark. You realize that time, too, is learning its rhythm, a rhythm that will one day echo in the beating of your own heart. The heat begins to fade. Not vanish, but ease. The universe is cooling, softening, stretching further. Energy becomes matter, matter becomes space, and space becomes vast enough for silence to begin. You start to hear it, not with ears, but with some deeper sense, the low hum of creation, a background vibration that will never fully fade. Billions of years from now, astronomers will still listen to it, calling it the cosmic microwave background. To you, now, it feels like a lullaby. In this silence, you realize something profound. The universe is not chaotic. It is ordered in its own way, tender in its expansion, patient in its becoming. Every burst of energy, every particle finding its place, moves with purpose. You can almost sense the blueprint beneath it all, a harmony so vast that it feels like peace. You begin to drift further, following the expansion. The light around you softens from blinding white to a warmer glow. Space itself stretches, carrying you gently outward. There is no edge, no boundary, only infinite room to grow. You think about how this same expansion still continues, even now, billions of years later, the echo of this first awakening. You are part of that echo. You always have been. The atoms forming around you are the seeds of everything, the clouds that will become stars, the stars that will forge heavier elements, the dust that will someday gather into planets. Even now, in these first minutes, the universe carries the memory of everything that will come. The galaxies, the oceans, the breath in your lungs, all contained in this simple beginning. It is as if the universe already knows where it is going, though it has only just begun. You drift through the cooling plasma, watching the light struggle to escape. The universe is still too dense for photons to travel freely. It is wrapped in a bright fog, not unpleasant, but mysterious. You can sense the light yearning to move, to see, to illuminate. That yearning feels familiar, like the faint pull of curiosity before dawn. You feel it, too, the quiet question rising within you. What happens next? What will this light become, once it's free? How will it shape the stars, the worlds, the hearts that will come after? The temperature drops again, gently, gracefully. Expansion continues, carrying everything apart but keeping the memory of closeness. Hydrogen clouds gather, drawn together by gravity's tender insistence. They will wait in the dark, for millions of years, until pressure and heat awaken them again. Until they ignite. The thought comforts you, that even in darkness, light is preparing. Even in the long, cool silence of early space, creation is not over. It's only resting, waiting for the next breath. You realize then that this beginning is not a singular event, but a rhythm, one that will echo throughout all of existence. Expansion, stillness, collapse, renewal. A heartbeat that belongs not only to the universe, but to everything within it. To you. You exhale slowly, feeling the weightlessness of space cradle you. Around you, the first light still glows faintly, fading into the vastness. It is not gone, only gentled, the warmth after the storm of creation. You let it wrap around you, a blanket woven from energy and time. Somewhere deep in the distance, matter stirs. The first clouds begin to swirl, drawn together by unseen hands. Something is beginning again, a second awakening, slower, grander, filled with the promise of stars. And as you drift toward that gathering light, you feel the universe breathe with you, calm, expanding, endless, preparing for the next chapter of its journey, the symphony of expansion. You float within the afterglow of the beginning. The fierce brightness of creation has softened now, easing into a golden calm. The universe is expanding, not rushing, not tearing apart, but unfolding like a great breath drawn slowly after the first heartbeat of life. You can feel it. The motion is everywhere, yet nowhere in particular. Every point drifts away from every other, like dots painted on the surface of an inflating balloon. There is no center, no edge, only the gentle rhythm of becoming larger. This is the universe's first exhale. A cosmic sigh. The heat of the Big Bang still lingers, but it is cooling, stretching, fading into melody. What was once blinding chaos now feels ordered, almost serene. In that widening, you begin to sense the birth of space itself, not as emptiness, but as a soft fabric, flexible and alive. It moves and bends, carrying light across its surface like ripples through a calm sea. Each second brings change, yet you feel no urgency. Time, still new, flows gently. You drift with it, and as you do, you begin to notice something almost musical in the pattern of expansion. The energy that once roared now hums at lower tones, resonating through every particle, every pocket of forming space. It is a frequency of existence itself, the universe composing its first, endless symphony. Matter begins to cool enough to take form. The fog of particles that once scattered light begins to clear. You can almost see through the haze, glimpsing the first hints of structure, waves of density, soft and uneven, rising and falling like the swells of an ancient ocean. In some regions, gravity gathers tiny fluctuations together. In others, it lets them drift apart. These gentle ripples will become everything: galaxies, stars, and eventually life. You move through these regions of denser space, feeling their quiet pull. Gravity is still young, but persistent. Its song is low and steady, like a drumbeat keeping time for the cosmic orchestra. Hydrogen and helium, the simplest gases, respond first, clustering slowly, their attraction almost shy. Where they gather, light thickens and temperature rises. Where they thin, darkness deepens. You float through both, finding peace in the balance. The universe, though vast beyond comprehension, still feels intimate. You can sense how everything belongs to everything else, how expansion does not separate, but connects. Every atom moves outward together, every stretch of space growing in harmony with every other. It's like breathing, inhale, exhale, and the cosmos is the chest of something infinite. As you drift further, you notice how the light itself changes. Once, it was too fierce to touch, too brilliant to see. Now it spreads softly, stretched by distance and time. Each photon travels farther between collisions, carrying with it the story of its birth. The universe's glow, once white-hot, now cools to deeper reds and oranges, as if the dawn of existence was slowly turning to evening. This cooling does not mean loss. It means balance. It means rest. Billions of tiny regions begin to expand at slightly different rates, their differences subtle but significant. Some will become great voids, vast, quiet deserts of space. Others will condense into threads of matter, weaving the first outlines of the cosmic web. But for now, it is all potential, a quiet hum of possibilities, playing beneath the surface of expanding space. You think of this unfolding as a kind of music. The cosmic background radiation hums the bass line, the forming atoms hum their harmony, and gravity conducts the rhythm with invisible grace. Each note lingers across time, overlapping, deepening, never ending. The tempo is slow, deliberate, a tempo you can fall asleep to. You feel this rhythm inside you. Though you have no form yet, something deep within resonates with the universe's pulse. You, too, are expanding, not outward, but inward. Each thought stretches into wonder, each breath into calm curiosity. The boundary between your being and the universe feels thinner than ever. You begin to understand. To expand is to live. The temperature continues to fall, from billions of degrees to mere thousands, then hundreds. At about 380,000 years after the beginning, something miraculous happens. The light that has been trapped, bouncing endlessly between free electrons, finally finds freedom. The universe becomes transparent. Photons, at last, can travel unhindered. The fog lifts. For the first time, there is clarity. You can see it now, the universe as a newborn sky of glowing mist, a warm amber glow that stretches in every direction. This is the moment of recombination, when electrons join nuclei to form stable atoms. Hydrogen and helium, united at last, float gently through expanding space like notes carried by a cosmic breeze. The universe is still simple, yet it holds within it all the complexity that will ever be. You drift through that amber light, and though it is faint, it feels eternal. You know that one day, billions of years from now, its afterglow will still fill the cosmos, cooled to a whisper of microwave energy. Scientists of another time will call it the cosmic microwave background, but for you, now, it is the music of creation. Every wavelength a lullaby, every photon a reminder that even as the universe grows colder, it grows more beautiful. Expansion continues. The galaxies that will someday form are still invisible, but their seeds are planted. The patterns of density are set, invisible outlines drawn into the fabric of space-time. You glide through them, sensing the faint gravitational currents that will one day pull atoms into stars, stars into clusters, clusters into spirals of light. Everything that will ever shine is already written here, waiting for its cue. And you wonder, softly, what drives this endless motion? What invisible breath keeps the universe stretching outward without end? The thought lingers like a question asked by the stars themselves. Will this expansion go on forever? Or will it one day slow, rest, and return to where it began? You let the question drift away like starlight, unanswered for now. The important thing is the rhythm, the steady widening, the patient cooling, the calmness that follows the first fire. The universe does not hurry. It grows because it must, because it is learning how to exist. The heat fades to darkness now. The light you once floated through stretches thin, dimming into deep night. Yet you feel no fear. The silence is not empty. It is vast, expectant, full of unspoken promises. Within that silence, hydrogen clouds thicken. Gravity whispers to them. Slowly, gently, they begin to move, to turn, to gather. And in that slow gathering, you sense the next act of creation preparing to begin, a quiet ignition waiting to happen. For from this cooling expanse, from this soft, expanding breath, something new will awaken. Something that glows. The darkness after expansion is not lifeless. It is a deep pause, the universe taking a slow, patient breath. The light that once filled everything has stretched thin, leaving behind a velvet stillness. But inside that stillness, something stirs. Gravity, quiet and tireless, has not forgotten its work. You drift among the endless hydrogen clouds left behind by the early universe. They are vast beyond imagination, invisible oceans of gas spread across light years, cold and quiet. Yet deep inside, small ripples begin to move. Atoms that were once scattered now feel the faint pull of each other. Slowly, over millions of years, they gather. You can almost hear it, a low, continuous hum, as though the universe were whispering to itself. It is the sound of gravity composing stars. The clouds grow denser. The gas collapses inward, and as it does, it heats. Pressure builds quietly, like a heartbeat under layers of sleep. What was once thin and cool becomes bright and alive. Deep inside these forming spheres, hydrogen atoms are pressed so tightly together that their very natures begin to merge. This is the first fire. Nuclear fusion, the joining of atoms into something new, begins not as a sudden blaze, but as a steady awakening. When the first fusion reactions ignite, the dark universe blushes with light. After hundreds of millions of years of quiet, the first stars are born. You watch them appear like tiny lanterns in the vastness, single points glowing softly in endless night. Some are small and red, glowing with a dim, steady patience. Others are immense and hot, their blue-white flames fierce and short-lived. They flicker to life by the thousands, then millions, scattering light across the black canvas of space. The silence is transformed. Yet, even in this blooming brightness, it remains peaceful. Each star hums with energy, singing in frequencies too deep for any ear to hear. You can feel it, the music of fusion, the harmony of balance between gravity pulling in and pressure pushing out. Every star is a note, and together they create the first great symphony of light. You drift closer to one. Its warmth radiates outward, bathing the surrounding dust in gold. The light feels ancient and new at once. Within its heart, atoms fuse, hydrogen into helium, helium into carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. The ingredients of life itself are being forged in silence. Every element that will one day shape oceans, mountains, trees, and you, all are being created here, inside stars. You realize that you are watching your own beginnings. The atoms that will form your bones and thoughts are being written in fire right now, countless eons before you will ever exist. You watch as the star lives its life, unhurried but finite. Millions, sometimes billions, of years pass in what feels like moments. The star grows older, heavier. Its core begins to fill with the ash of its own creation, iron, a weight it cannot bear forever. Then, at the end of its life, gravity wins one final time. The collapse is sudden, but even in its violence, there is beauty. The star folds in upon itself, and in the instant before its death, it releases everything, all its light, all its elements, all its essence, back into the cosmos. A supernova blooms across the void, brighter than a billion suns. You feel it, the wave of light, the scattering of dust and carbon and gold. The materials of everything future spill into space. The explosion fades, but its gift remains. The universe now holds the seeds for planets, oceans, and life. Creation, you see, is not a single event. It is a continuous unfolding, where endings become beginnings again. You drift through the remains of the star, glowing filaments of gas expanding outward like petals. They cool, stretch, and blend into the quiet again. Between these clouds, new gravity wells are already forming, gathering dust and gas once more. Each one will birth another star, another chance. You think about this pattern, how everything in existence seems to inhale and exhale. Stars live, die, and return to the fabric of space, just as your own body will one day return to the soil, the air, the light. Nothing is wasted. Nothing ever truly ends. The silence between the stars deepens again. Yet this silence is not the same as before. It feels wiser, fuller, like a breath held in wonder. You sense the echo of every supernova still resonating in the background, soft, ancient chords still fading into the next. You move through this starlit expanse and realize that you are no longer separate from it. You are the dust of old stars and the dream of new ones. The atoms of your heart were once fused in long-dead suns. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your breath, all born from cosmic fire. To be human, you think, is to carry the memory of stars. Every spark of thought, every flicker of curiosity, is the echo of a distant light. You are not beneath the universe. You are of it, a continuation of its desire to shine. You float in stillness, surrounded by galaxies yet unborn. Somewhere, more clouds begin to collapse, more stars to ignite. The light is spreading, filling the universe with quiet purpose. The expansion that began in the Big Bang now glows with the fire of creation. The once dark cosmos is learning how to glitter. The silence between stars feels less lonely now. It is like the pause between heartbeats, necessary, beautiful, alive. You can feel the balance between motion and rest, between brightness and shadow. The universe, for all its vastness, feels like a single, breathing being. You close your eyes, though you have none, and listen to the faint hum that fills everything. It's the same sound you heard when the universe first opened its eyes, only softer now, woven with the light of stars. You wonder how far this music will travel, how long it will echo before fading again. And as you drift through the luminous quiet, you sense another presence waiting to join the symphony, something even more powerful, more intimate. An unseen force that will draw these stars together, hold galaxies in place, and keep the rhythm of the cosmos steady. There is a silence so deep that even light seems hesitant to move. You drift within it, feeling no direction, no sound, no weight, until something changes. Somewhere in that stillness, a quiet pull begins. It is delicate, almost imperceptible, but it grows, soft as a sigh, steady as breath. That pull is gravity. It isn't loud or violent. It doesn't shout for attention. It simply reaches, patiently, across emptiness. It doesn't force, it invites, one particle toward another, one moment toward the next. The universe, which once scattered outward in a great rush of expansion, begins to feel its own yearning to come together again. You realize then, gravity is the first whisper of belonging. Every atom that formed after the Big Bang carries mass, and with mass comes attraction. Even the smallest fleck of dust in the newborn cosmos feels the faint tug of another. Over time, those tugs add up. Clouds of gas drift closer, pulled by invisible threads. The dance begins, slow, quiet, endless. You watch the threads weave through darkness, forming patterns too vast for the mind to hold. This is how the universe learns its rhythm. Each pull becomes a step, each gathering a note in the growing symphony of structure. Where once there was formlessness, now there is direction. Gravity, though unseen, gives the cosmos its shape, not by control, but by connection. You imagine it as a gentle hand tracing arcs through the void, guiding scattered dust into soft spirals. Hydrogen atoms drift together, forming clouds. Within those clouds, denser patches begin to collapse, pulled inward by their own weight. In those collapsing centers, heat stirs, faint, then fierce. Light will come later, but for now, gravity writes the script. Even now, you feel it inside yourself. The same law that shapes galaxies also shapes your steps, the arc of your hand, the curve of your spine as you breathe. You are not separate from the universe's motion. You are one small continuation of it. You let that thought rest in your chest. Gravity, you realize, is not only a force. It is the universe remembering how to stay close to itself. Everywhere you look, small clumps become large ones. Tiny fluctuations in density, places where matter is just a bit thicker, become the seeds of everything. These tiny imperfections are what gravity loves most. From them, stars will someday ignite, galaxies will spiral, and planets will rise. The universe doesn't need perfection. It grows from imbalance, from the gentle asymmetry of possibility. You drift beside a gathering cloud of hydrogen, cold, dark, immense. Its edges shimmer faintly as light from distant stars passes through it. Inside, the gas begins to swirl, pulled by its own gravity into a tighter knot. You sense its temperature rising, molecules colliding faster and faster. Soon, deep in the core, pressure will force atoms to merge. Fusion, the quiet fire that will turn darkness into dawn. You are witnessing the early rehearsal for starlight. Still, for now, there is only gravity, humming in the background like the bass line of a cosmic song. You can almost hear it, a low vibration, like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat too vast to measure. Everything that exists moves to that rhythm, whether it knows it or not. The more you listen, the more you feel its tenderness. Gravity does not demand, it persuades. It does not rush, It waits. It is the patience of billions of years condensed into motion. As galaxies to be swirl faintly in the darkness, you sense how deeply personal this pull is. Every piece of you, every atom in your bones, has been drawn by gravity since before time had shape. It pulled the dust that became your world together. It keeps oceans from flying away. It holds your feet to the soil and your heart to the sky. In the smallest way, gravity is the story of closeness, of everything wanting to be near something else. You let that truth settle into you. Perhaps the universe itself is an act of gathering, not only matter, but meaning. Even separation serves connection. Even expansion reveals longing. You think about two stars orbiting one another, drawn together, held in balance by that invisible embrace. They circle endlessly, their light weaving soft halos across the dark. Neither consumes the other, they simply remain in conversation, their gravity the language of devotion. Perhaps gravity, in its truest sense, is love made physical, the simplest, oldest kind. The universe continues to grow. Space stretches, but within it, gravity keeps sculpting. Tiny clumps of matter grow into great clusters, and those clusters link together, forming filaments across the cosmic void. You can almost see it, an immense, glowing web, shimmering with energy. This is how structure begins, not in chaos, but in quiet connection. You drift through the web, past places where future galaxies will bloom. You see invisible bridges of gravity spanning unimaginable distances. Each bridge is a promise, everything belongs somewhere, even if the journey takes billions of years. You find comfort in that thought. Because if gravity binds galaxies, perhaps it also binds memories, dreams, and lives. Invisible threads holding the universe's story together, from beginning to end. Your mind drifts to the thought of time itself. Does gravity shape time the way it shapes matter? You recall the way space bends near massive objects, how clocks tick slower under stronger gravity. Time, it seems, is pulled too, stretched, curved, softened by the same force that keeps stars in orbit. It's as though gravity teaches even time how to linger, how to stay close to what it loves. You float closer to a massive cluster of stars. Their combined pull creates valleys in the fabric of space-time, like dimples in soft cloth. Light bends gracefully around them, tracing invisible paths through curved geometry. You follow one beam of light as it arcs around a distant sun, like a ribbon guided by unseen hands. The light bends, but does not break. The universe is full of such gentle negotiations. Nothing fights the laws that hold it, everything moves within them, harmonizing with the unseen order. As you watch, the cluster spins. Its stars orbit around a glowing center, a bright heart of energy and gravity in perfect balance. The scene feels familiar, like the pattern of blood flowing through a body, or the rhythm of breath. You realize then that gravity doesn't only connect the physical, it echoes through the emotional. It's the instinct that makes atoms gather, stars form, galaxies coalesce, and living beings reach toward one another in kindness. The pull that holds the cosmos together also keeps your world tender. You let your awareness drift outward again, the stars growing smaller until they merge into a vast, luminous sea. The web of connection stretches beyond sight, an infinite embrace, calm and complete. And yet, within that peace, motion stirs. The small galaxies begin to move, not randomly, but as if guided by the same ancient song. Some drift closer. Others prepare to meet. The next great pattern is forming. You feel it now, the first rhythm of the dance. Not collision, but choreography. Not destruction, but rebirth. Gravity hums its soft refrain, everything that comes together will someday dance. And with that, the galaxies begin to turn. The first galaxies rise like islands of light in a dark and endless ocean. You drift among them, their forms still soft, uncertain, clouds of stars and gas turning slowly, learning how to move. They shimmer faintly, not yet knowing the elegance they will one day possess. You watch them gather themselves, spinning under gravity's quiet choreography. Stars trace wide, luminous arcs through space. Their orbits are ancient poems, lines written not in words but in motion. Each galaxy becomes a dancer, every star a step in an infinite waltz. The universe is no longer still. It sways. Some galaxies are graceful spirals, their arms stretched like ribbons, each one glowing with the light of billions of suns. Others are round and compact, like pearls suspended in black velvet. And some, still young and unsure, are twisted and irregular, learning the language of balance through imperfection. You move among them as they turn. There is no sound here, yet you can almost hear a rhythm, the slow pulse of motion, the heartbeat of cosmic time. Each galaxy turns at its own pace, but all seem to move to the same invisible music. It is not chaos. It is choreography written by gravity itself. You float past a spiral galaxy so vast it seems to breathe. From its glowing core, long arms stretch outward, curving like brushstrokes across the void. You follow the motion of its stars, each one a story unfolding in silence. Near the center, stars race faster, their paths tight and fierce. Farther out, they drift more slowly, as if dancing in wide, patient circles. The pattern feels familiar, like watching a whirlpool, a hurricane, a heartbeat. Spirals appear everywhere, from seashells to storms, from galaxies to the pattern of a leaf's veins. You realize then that the universe does not invent new forms for every scale. It repeats beauty where beauty works. You glide closer to another galaxy. Two, actually, intertwined. Their edges touch first, then merge, their stars mingling like dancers clasping hands. It looks violent from afar, but up close, it is astonishingly graceful. Stars rarely collide directly, they weave around one another, their gravity shaping elegant curves through space. This is not destruction, it is transformation. When galaxies collide, they create new forms, new stars, new light. The dance is not about staying whole, it is about becoming more. You watch the two galaxies merge completely. Their spiral arms twist and fold, their cores glow brighter. Around them, gas clouds compress and ignite, new stars being born from the chaos. Where old structures collapse, new constellations bloom. In that moment, you understand, chaos and creation are not opposites. They are partners in the same motion. You drift onward, letting the vision expand. The universe around you is alive with movement, galaxies spinning, colliding, rebirthing across unimaginable scales. Clusters of galaxies pull together, forming chains and filaments that stretch across the cosmos like luminous rivers. It feels alive. Not in the way a creature breathes, but in how everything connects, how no motion is wasted, how every swirl and every pull contributes to a grander pattern. You pass through a galaxy shaped like a ring, the result of one passing cleanly through another long ago. It glows like a ripple frozen in time, each star a droplet in an ocean of starlight. Gravity made this pattern and then left it to endure, a moment of motion preserved across billions of years. You drift near its edge, and for a brief instant, you feel the weight of time, not as something rushing forward, but as something vast and circular. The galaxies have danced for billions of years, and they will continue for billions more. Their motions are slow, patient, almost eternal. It makes you think about your own rhythms, your heartbeat, your breath, the turning of your thoughts. In your own small way, you too move to the same rhythm. Your pulse mirrors the spin of galaxies. Your inhale and exhale are miniature expansions and contractions of the cosmos. You are not an observer of the dance, you are part of it. The light from distant galaxies reaches you after traveling across the ages. What you see is not what they are now, but what they once were. You are always watching the past, light delayed by time, still arriving, still telling stories. You realize something tender. Even light wants to be remembered. You drift through a galactic cluster, hundreds of galaxies bound together by gravity. They move around a common center, an invisible balance point like the center of a waltz. From afar, it looks like a field of glowing embers slowly swirling in the dark. You sense that in every direction, motion continues. Every spin, every pull, every collapse is part of an endless conversation. The universe never truly stops moving. It only changes its form of expression. Between galaxies, dark matter hums, unseen, yet essential. It is the hidden partner of this dance, guiding the steps, holding the pattern steady. You cannot see it, but you feel its presence like a quiet accompaniment beneath the melody. It ensures that galaxies do not spin apart, that the rhythm does not lose its timing. You let the thought sink in, even what is invisible can hold the world together. The galaxies drift farther apart as the universe expands. The distances grow, the spaces widen. Yet their motion remains beautiful, each one turning softly, as if in remembrance of the closeness they once shared. You imagine them as dancers who once touched hands and now move apart across a vast ballroom, still bound by memory, still connected by the gravity between them. And in that vision, you feel something deeply human, that same quiet ache of separation, softened by beauty. Because distance, too, has its purpose. It gives motion meaning. It gives longing a horizon. You close your eyes, or what would be eyes, and let the galaxies spin around you. The stars swirl in slow arcs. The light bends, stretches, fades, renews. The entire cosmos feels like a breath, one long, shimmering exhale. In the far reaches of your awareness, something begins to flicker. Within the hearts of these swirling galaxies, stars burn, forging new elements in their cores. Within them, the quiet fire of creation deepens. Soon, you will drift closer, drawn by that inner glow, that fusion where light is born, where warmth begins. The galaxies continue to turn, endlessly, effortlessly. Their dance is the rhythm of eternity, never hurried, never complete. You follow their motion until it fades into a single pulse of light. The next part of the journey is waiting inside that glow, where stars awaken and fire learns to sing. The light that once shimmered from galaxies now draws you inward, deeper, closer. You drift toward a single point where a newborn star trembles in its cradle of dust. Around it, gases swirl like liquid gold, pulled by gravity's patient hands. The universe is no longer wide and cold. It is intimate, glowing, alive. The silence here feels heavy, as if holding its breath. Then, without warning, it ignites. At the star's center, hydrogen atoms collide, the simplest things in existence meeting with unstoppable force. Each collision fuses them into something new, helium, and with it, light. The darkness does not resist. It opens itself to the fire. You watch as this process repeats endlessly, trillions upon trillions of times every second. The quiet emptiness becomes a furnace. From invisible collisions, radiance is born. And in that moment, you realize, creation is not loud. It whispers. The glow expands, spilling warmth across the surrounding clouds. The dust begins to shimmer. Tiny particles, iron, carbon, oxygen, swirl through the light, learning the art of structure. Every breath of that plasma, every heartbeat of the star, is an act of balance. Gravity pulls inward, fire pushes outward. The two forces do not fight, they hold each other still. A perfect tension, neither winning nor surrendering. You drift into the outer layers, where currents of plasma twist like rivers of molten silk. They move with elegance, not chaos, convection bringing energy from the star's heart to its surface. There, the light escapes, scattering through the void as warmth and color. For the first time, space is no longer only dark. You look closer at the fire. Within its chaos, patterns emerge. The light flickers in harmonies, not random, but rhythmic. Each pulse, each flare, is a kind of heartbeat. Stars, you realize, are not silent spheres, they sing. Their vibrations ripple through space, waves of sound you cannot hear but can feel. The universe is learning how to make music. You watch one star swell and contract gently, breathing in the language of time. Its rhythm feels alive, like something that remembers motion. And you wonder, is this where memory begins? Does the universe remember itself through the vibrations of light? In its core, the star forges heavier elements: carbon, oxygen, neon. Each new atom is born from pressure and patience. The star works endlessly, silently building the ingredients of everything yet to come. You think of this furnace as a heart that will one day scatter its own ashes to form worlds. You begin to understand that even destruction is a form of giving. A nearby star flickers brighter than the rest. Its energy surges, its body expands. For a brief eternity, it glows like a sun multiplied by 10,000. You know what comes next. The star collapses. Gravity wins, but not cruelly, decisively. The outer layers explode outward, scattering the elements across space. Gold, silver, iron, calcium, all flung into the cosmos like seeds. You follow them as they drift, slow and glowing, into the dark. You realize that everything you will ever touch, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, was born from this death. Every atom in your body is stardust reshaped by time. You are, quite literally, the echo of a supernova. The explosion fades. Silence returns. But it is no longer the same silence. Now it hums, full, resonant, alive with potential. You sense that within this quiet, something stirs. Dust begins to gather again, pulled by unseen gravity. The cycle starts anew. Stars are born. They shine. They die. And from their ashes, more stars rise. It is a story that never truly ends, only changes form. You drift between the remnants of exploded stars, clouds of color suspended in the dark. One glows crimson, another emerald, another blue. Each nebula is a painting in motion, light moving through gas like brushstrokes on eternity's canvas. The colors are not decoration, they are history written in wavelength. Red for hydrogen, green for oxygen, blue for helium. The universe records its story not in ink, but in light. You glide through these colors, feeling their warmth brush against you like memories. The light does not fade as you move through it, it follows, wrapping around you softly. You understand then that light is never truly lost. It only travels farther. You pass near a cluster of young stars, hot, bright, restless. Their light spills outward in waves that collide and overlap. They are loud in their brilliance, impatient to shine. Around them, the remnants of older stars drift quietly, watching like elders. It feels almost human, the young blazing forward, the old giving way so that light continues. In the quiet between those suns, you sense another truth. Creation always costs something. For light to exist, fuel must be spent. For warmth to reach another, something must burn. And yet, the stars do not resist this fate. They burn willingly. They seem to know that purpose is not in lasting forever, but in giving while they can. You think about that. About how all things that shine eventually fade, but the light they give continues to travel. Maybe immortality isn't in endurance. Maybe it's in the echoes left behind. One star catches your attention. Smaller, gentler, glowing a soft amber. It burns slower, steadier, as if patient with time. You feel drawn to it. Its warmth feels different, not the fierce blaze of youth, but the calm fire of understanding. You linger near its surface, where waves of energy ripple outward like breath. If you listen, truly listen, you can almost hear it whisper, Be still, even in the burning. You stay there for what feels like ages, letting the light wash through you. The fire is not harsh. It is nurturing, like sunlight through closed eyes. You begin to see that this quiet fire, is where life begins its preparation. Within the ashes and light, within the steady fusion and patient warmth, the materials of life are being formed: carbon for structure, oxygen for breath, nitrogen for balance. The ingredients for something soft, something conscious. You realize the stars are not just creating matter, they are composing possibility. The cosmos hums with anticipation. The next transformation is near. You drift outward once more, past the glowing clouds and burning hearts, through the expanding sea of light. Behind you, the stars continue their song. Ahead, a faint blue shimmer catches your eye, the glimmer of cooling dust forming something new, something solid. The warmth of stars fades to a gentle calm. The light of creation begins to settle into form. You move toward that blue shimmer, where heat becomes matter, and light learns the shape of worlds. You float near the core of a star nearing the end of its life. For billions of years, it has fused hydrogen into helium, slowly building up heavier elements in its heart. You watch as the processes inside it prepare for a transformation that will shape the material of the universe. In the star's center, pressure and temperature reach extremes. Hydrogen has mostly disappeared, replaced by helium, which now fuses into carbon and oxygen. In the largest stars, these reactions continue further, producing neon, magnesium, silicon, sulfur, and eventually iron. Each fusion reaction releases energy, holding the star against the inward pull of gravity. But iron cannot release energy through fusion. The star reaches a limit. Its core collapses under gravity, causing a shockwave that propagates outward. This is a supernova, the explosive death of a star. For a brief moment, it shines brighter than an entire galaxy, scattering all the elements it created into surrounding space. You drift through the debris. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron, gold. Each atom was formed in the intense heat and pressure of the star's core. Some have traveled for millions of years, carried by the shockwave, before slowing and spreading into surrounding space. These are the building blocks for planets, water, the air you breathe, and even life itself. You realize that your body contains atoms forged in such stars. Iron in your blood, oxygen in your lungs, calcium in your bones, all were once part of ancient stellar furnaces. In that sense, you are a continuation of these cosmic processes. The matter expelled by supernovae drifts slowly through space. Gravity begins to gather these particles into clouds, which condense over millions of years. Hydrogen and helium dominate, but within the clouds are heavier elements scattered by the supernova. These clouds become nurseries for new stars and eventually for planets. You float through one of these nebulae, observing dust and gas slowly coming together. The denser regions collapse first, forming new stars, while leftover material orbits these stars in disks. Within these disks, planets begin to form. The elements that were once locked in the heart of a star now combine into rocks, metals, and gases. Each atom has a history. You consider carbon atoms, which are the basis of all life on Earth. They have been inside stars, supernovae, interstellar clouds, and now, billions of years later, oxygen atoms have traveled similar journeys. Even atoms of gold or silver you might hold in your hand were created in these cosmic events. This is the continuous cycle of matter. Stars form, create elements, die, scatter material, and new stars and planets form. The universe constantly recycles its building blocks, ensuring that no material is ever truly lost. Each atom carries the memory of where it came from, traveling through space until it finds a new role. As you move through the cloud, you notice variations in density and composition. These small differences are important. Areas with more dust and heavier elements are more likely to form rocky planets. Regions with more hydrogen and helium will form gas giants. Gravity works patiently, drawing material together, slowly shaping the architecture of solar systems. The supernovae that produce these elements also enrich the interstellar medium with energy. Shockwaves compress nearby gas, triggering the collapse of other clouds. One star's death can lead to the birth of many others. Creation is connected to destruction, and every ending allows for new beginnings. You observe how the elements that make up life on Earth are spread across the galaxy. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur are all products of previous generations of stars. Without them, planets like Earth could not exist. You begin to understand that life is possible because stars have lived and died, releasing these elements into space. You feel the timescale of these processes. Formation and collapse take millions, sometimes billions of years. Stars live, die, and scatter material slowly across space. Even the light you see from distant stars traveled for thousands of years before reaching your eyes. Everything is connected across time and space. You begin to see your own connection to this process. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every cell is made of materials that were once part of stars. In a quiet sense, you are not separate from the universe. You are a continuation of its cycles. The clouds around you gradually begin to settle. Gravity has drawn much of the dust together. Some regions will ignite into new stars, while other areas will slowly form planets. This calm after the storm of supernovae is where the next cycle begins. Energy disperses, space cools slightly, and matter finds new arrangements. You realize that the universe is patient. Nothing is rushed. The creation of elements, the formation of stars and planets, and the scattering of matter all happen over unimaginable spans of time. Yet, every particle moves according to the same laws, every process precise and reliable. You float further from the cloud, watching as scattered elements drift into the emptiness between stars. Over time, they will mix with other material, gradually forming new clouds. This is the quiet persistence of matter, a continuity that connects the first stars to future worlds. Even the smallest atoms carry significance. Each one has survived processes that seem violent or destructive but are essential to creation. In understanding this, you begin to feel the patience of the universe, its long cycles of formation, death, and rebirth. The warmth from the nearby stars fades slightly as you drift outward. The clouds of elements spread across space, waiting for the next stage of formation. You sense the universe beginning to quiet, the energy of countless supernovae dispersing into calm. This sets the stage for a slower, cooler era, a period in which the universe's afterglow becomes the backdrop for new matter to assemble. You let your awareness settle on that vast, cooling expanse. The elements forged in stars are scattered, patient, and ready. Gravity has begun to organize them. Matter will slowly find its shape. And in that quiet preparation, you feel the gentle promise of time stretching forward, toward the long cooling of space, where the remnants of light and matter will linger, and the universe itself begins to rest. You drift through space as it slowly expands, the distances between galaxies increasing imperceptibly. The universe is becoming cooler, quieter, less dense. The energy from the Big Bang that once burned so brightly has been stretched thin, diluted across vast distances. You can sense this shift, a gentle easing, as if the universe itself is exhaling after a long creation. Everywhere around you, light still travels, but its color has shifted. Photons once energetic enough to ionize hydrogen now move more slowly through the cooling universe, stretching into longer wavelengths. This is the cosmic microwave background, a faint, uniform glow left from the early universe. It is a subtle hum, a reminder of where everything began, and it surrounds you in every direction. You notice that the universe has a temperature now, extremely low but not zero. About 2.7 degrees above absolute zero, it is a background warmth that pervades all of space. It is far colder than anything on Earth, but in the context of the cosmos, it is the soft remnant of a fiery origin, a gentle memory of intense energy that once filled every corner of existence. You move slowly, drifting past clouds of gas and dust that were expelled from stars and supernovae. These remnants now cool in the vast emptiness, spreading over light years, merging with other clouds, gradually forming the building blocks for future stars and planets. The process is quiet and patient. Gravity still works, slowly pulling material together, but there is no hurry. The universe, in this stage, is settling into balance. The violent collisions of early galaxies are less common, though they still occur on enormous timescales. Stars continue to shine, some dying, some forming, but the overall energy of the universe is decreasing. It feels like a long, steady sigh. Even light from distant stars must travel farther to reach you now. The expansion stretches it, making it cooler and fainter. You feel the distance in your mind, not as something empty, but as space growing wider, giving time and room for new processes to unfold. You watch a cloud of hydrogen and helium, still diffuse, still slowly moving under gravity's pull. Over millions of years, regions of higher density may collapse to form new stars, while other regions will remain as thin, quiet gas. The universe is patient, waiting for energy to accumulate, matter to assemble, before anything new happens. You notice the quiet organization of space. Even in this cooling period, patterns begin to emerge. Matter collects in filaments, forming the large-scale structure of the cosmos. Galaxies are not evenly spread but follow a web of interconnected threads, separated by voids that grow as the universe expands. You feel the scale of it, the subtle structure of space itself forming slowly, like a skeleton beneath the surface. As you float, you consider entropy. The universe's energy is becoming more evenly spread. Heat flows from hotter regions to cooler regions, motion slows, and the cosmos approaches equilibrium on a vast scale. This does not mean everything stops. Stars continue to burn, galaxies continue to move, but the overall energy is gradually becoming less concentrated. It is a quiet, inevitable process, a long cooling toward uniformity. You notice pockets of warmth, young stars, newly formed galaxies, still bright and energetic compared to the surrounding cold. These are islands of activity, remnants of concentrated energy, creating light, heat, and chemical elements. Around them, the universe is calm, yet these regions remind you that change continues, even in a generally cooling space. The cosmic microwave background, though faint, remains constant. You feel it as a soft, pervasive presence. It is uniform in all directions, a subtle glow marking the limits of your view into the early universe. You sense that every particle in space has passed through this same radiation, has carried its memory, and continues to travel with it. You drift past interstellar clouds, noticing the chemical complexity within them. Hydrogen and helium dominate, but traces of heavier elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, exist from previous generations of stars. These elements may someday be incorporated into new stars, planets, or even life. The universe recycles its material endlessly, even as it cools. The temperature continues to decrease slowly. Over billions of years, star formation will decline as gas is used up, and galaxies will drift farther apart. But for now, energy still flows, matter still moves, and creation continues on a slower, gentler scale. The universe is no longer violent or chaotic. It is steady, stretching, expanding, cooling, a calm, measured rhythm that you can sense in your awareness. You feel connected to this process. Though the universe is vast and cooling, you can imagine its cycles, its expansions and contractions, its movements across unimaginable distances. You sense the same patience in yourself, a body and mind that breathe, observe, and continue. The clouds of matter you float through are slowly forming patterns. Gravity pulls gently, shaping them over millions of years into potential new systems. Energy from distant stars still travels through these clouds, influencing chemistry and temperature, carrying light across space. You notice the balance between movement and stillness, motion that occurs on timescales so long it feels like calm. You feel the cooling in your awareness. The hum of the cosmic background, the steady spread of matter, the faint warmth of distant stars, it all merges into a quiet meditation. The universe is not asleep, but it is resting, slowing, stretching its energy across space. You drift in this vast calm, part of the motion, part of the stillness. And as you float, you sense the next stage in the story. From this long cooling, the universe will continue to evolve. Stars will fade, black holes will form, and galaxies will drift ever farther apart. The quiet now prepares the cosmos for the transformations to come, holding energy and matter in a patient, unhurried pause. You let yourself drift through this calm, listening to the subtle hum of space. The universe is cooling, yes, but it is not finished. It is simply preparing for the next steps, slow, patient, inevitable. And in that quiet, you feel the gentle promise of time continuing, leading toward the unfolding of entropy, the movement of matter, and the steady progression of the universe's story. You drift through the quiet spaces of the universe, noticing the vastness of time stretching in every direction. Time here is not measured by clocks or calendars. It is the steady progression of cause and effect, the sequence in which events unfold. You feel it as a gentle flow, guiding everything from the motion of galaxies to the cooling of interstellar clouds. Entropy is the quiet companion of this flow. In every system, energy spreads from concentrated forms into more diffuse states. Heat flows from hot regions to cold. Matter moves from ordered clusters toward more random arrangements. You can sense this subtle movement as the universe seeks balance. Nothing is rushed, yet everything gradually changes. You observe a star cluster in the distance. Some stars burn brightly while others have faded. Over millions of years, their life cycles overlap, creating a mosaic of energy, light, and matter. Each transformation follows a sequence dictated by physics. Time ensures that processes unfold in a specific direction: fusion, expansion, collapse, scattering. Cause leads to effect, effect leads to consequence. This direction, this forward flow, is what you recognize as the arrow of time. Unlike space, which can stretch and bend, time moves steadily forward. You cannot turn back or pause it. Instead, you drift alongside it, observing how it shapes matter, energy, and the universe itself. You notice that the arrow of time is closely connected to the increasing entropy of the universe. As the universe expands and cools, energy becomes more evenly distributed. Hot regions lose heat, dense regions spread out, and the cosmos gradually moves toward equilibrium. Entropy does not destroy, it redistributes. It spreads energy and matter in ways that maintain the forward flow of time. You pass through a diffuse cloud of gas and dust. Tiny particles move slowly, colliding and combining. Some atoms form molecules, while others drift apart. The process is gradual, almost imperceptible, but time governs every interaction. Without it, nothing could unfold, no star could ignite, no planet could form, no life could emerge. You begin to sense your own connection to this arrow. You, too, exist within its flow. Your thoughts, your breathing, your heartbeat all unfold sequentially. Every moment builds on the one before. The universe and your consciousness share this same direction, this same gentle progression. In your observation, you see patterns repeating at different scales. Galaxies rotate, stars form and die, atoms collide. Even though individual events are unique, the laws governing them remain constant. Time allows these patterns to unfold, creating a sense of order in a universe that is otherwise vast and seemingly random. You notice that endings are part of the process. Stars burn out, galaxies drift apart, light eventually fades. But these endings are not absolute. They lead to new arrangements, new opportunities for energy and matter to recombine. Every collapse, every transformation, contributes to the continuing evolution of the universe. Time ensures that nothing is truly lost, only transformed. You float past a region where new stars are beginning to form. Here, gravitational forces gather clouds of gas into dense clumps. The process is slow, taking millions of years. But within these clouds, the forward march of time is evident. From chaos emerges structure, guided by physical laws and shaped by entropy. As you move through this region, you notice the subtle effects of time on energy. Photons emitted from distant stars travel for thousands of years before reaching this point. Their journeys demonstrate that time not only moves forward but also carries the history of events across space. You are witnessing moments that began long before you arrived, yet they arrive in sequence, following the arrow of time. You sense that this flow is comforting. Even in decay and dispersal, there is continuity. Every change, every transition, every fading light contributes to the ongoing story. Time is not harsh or abrupt. It is patient and steady. It allows the universe to evolve without rushing, giving each process its proper duration. You drift further, observing galaxies slowly moving apart as the universe expands. The distances between clusters increase, and the energy within them spreads. Entropy grows, yet patterns remain. Filaments of the cosmic web hold galaxies in delicate balance, and you feel that this balance exists because of the steady progression of time. You notice how this principle affects life itself. Systems require time to develop, whether they are stars, planets, or living organisms. Reactions occur in sequence, complexity arises gradually, and cycles repeat. Without the arrow of time, there would be no cause, no effect, no continuity. Existence itself depends on this forward motion. You begin to understand that the arrow of time is not a restriction but a guide. It allows events to unfold in predictable ways while still permitting creativity and variation. Energy flows, matter shifts, and systems evolve within this framework, producing the diversity and complexity you see in the universe. As you drift through this realization, you feel the calm rhythm of time passing around you. Moments stretch and blend, yet each has its place. You sense that the universe, in its patient forward motion, is also a teacher, showing that change is natural, and that endings are often beginnings in disguise. You float past regions where stars have died and clouds of gas are forming. You see the result of time's arrow in every process: light emitted, elements dispersed, energy redistributed. Each instance is part of a continuum, contributing to a larger pattern that is still unfolding. The universe expands, entropy grows, matter drifts, and light continues its journey. You feel yourself aligned with this progression, moving gently forward alongside every process, every transformation. The arrow of time carries you and the universe together, a quiet, patient, inevitable flow. And as you float within this steady progression, you sense the next stage of the story, the universe's vast web of interconnected galaxies and matter, stretching infinitely, waiting to reveal the intricate structure that holds everything together. You drift further into space, noticing how galaxies are not scattered randomly. Instead, they form long, thin filaments, stretching across millions of light-years. These filaments connect clusters of galaxies, creating a vast, web-like structure that binds the universe together. You sense the pattern without needing to see every detail. Its scale is immense, yet it feels purposeful. The regions between filaments are not empty, though they appear dark. They are called voids, vast spaces with very few galaxies or matter. Light passes through these regions slowly, carrying information from one part of the universe to another. You notice how the cosmic web organizes matter, even across these vast emptinesses. Gravity pulls galaxies toward the filaments, shaping the large-scale structure of the cosmos. You float along one of these threads, observing groups of galaxies moving in relative harmony. Some are spirals, slowly rotating, their stars orbiting around luminous centers. Others are elliptical, their stars moving more randomly but still bound by gravity. Despite differences in shape and size, all follow the invisible scaffolding of the web. The cosmic web is formed from the earliest fluctuations in the density of matter after the Big Bang. Tiny variations in density caused regions to collapse under gravity, forming the first stars and galaxies. Over billions of years, these regions stretched and connected, producing the intricate network you now see. You sense that every galaxy you pass carries a memory of these first instabilities, a record of the universe's earliest structure. You notice the scale of this network. Filaments connect clusters containing hundreds or thousands of galaxies, which themselves contain billions of stars. The distances between these filaments are enormous, yet the web is continuous. Matter moves along these threads, feeding galaxies and clusters, enabling star formation, and creating the conditions for future systems. Within the filaments, galaxies are not fixed. They interact, sometimes colliding, sometimes merging. These interactions shape their evolution, triggering bursts of star formation or redistributing gas and dust. You can sense the flow of energy and matter, following paths guided by gravity and the underlying structure of space. You consider how even the smallest structures, stars, planets, atoms, are part of this network. They form within galaxies, which themselves move along filaments, tracing the universe's largest patterns. You sense the repetition of structure at different scales, a principle that connects everything from subatomic particles to clusters of galaxies. The web is not static. It continues to evolve as the universe expands. Galaxies move along filaments, voids grow larger, and clusters slowly merge. Yet the overall pattern persists, maintaining the same cosmic architecture. You sense that the universe balances change and stability simultaneously, using both to preserve the coherence of the web. You drift past a massive galaxy cluster. Its gravity attracts smaller galaxies nearby, pulling them into long arcs. Gas and dark matter flow through the cluster, feeding the growth of new stars and shaping the evolution of the region. You notice how the presence of dark matter, unseen yet influential, holds the web together. Without it, filaments might not form, and the universe would look entirely different. You realize that the cosmic web is both large and intimate. Its scale is almost impossible to comprehend, yet the interactions within it affect every particle of matter, every photon of light, every potential site for life. Even you, floating among the stars, are part of this system. Every atom in your body originated in earlier generations of stars, which were themselves arranged along these structures long before planets or life existed. As you move through a void, you notice that its emptiness is not truly empty. Sparse gas, dust, and dark matter still exist, moving slowly under the influence of gravity. Occasionally, a galaxy drifts through the void, carried by its own momentum and the pull of the filaments. You sense that even emptiness contains structure and potential, and that time continues to shape it gradually. You think about how this cosmic web connects everything. Energy, matter, and light all travel along its paths, moving from one region to another. Radiation from early stars, supernovae, and active galactic nuclei travels along these threads, seeding other regions with energy and elements. The universe is interconnected at every scale. You begin to feel the quiet rhythm of the web. Its structure develops slowly, patiently, over billions of years. Collisions, mergers, and flows of matter continue, but they follow predictable laws, moving along the filaments, shaping galaxies, and distributing energy. The universe has a pattern, a flow, a gentle order even in its immensity. You notice a distant galaxy moving along a filament. Its stars shine steadily, and its gas slowly collapses into new regions of star formation. Even as the universe expands and cools, these local structures maintain energy and activity. You feel the continuity of processes, each contributing to the broader rhythm of the cosmos. As you drift, you sense the same patterns repeating in smaller scales, within solar systems, within planetary atmospheres, even within molecular clouds where stars will eventually form. The principle of structure persists everywhere, guided by gravity, matter, and the passage of time. You feel a sense of calm and connection. The universe is vast, yet everything follows predictable patterns. Galaxies, stars, and atoms move together along the web, linked by gravity and the history of their formation. You are part of that continuum, floating in alignment with the structures of space. And as you continue to move along the cosmic web, you sense the pull of regions even denser than clusters, the hearts of galaxies, where gravity pulls inward, creating black holes. You feel the next stage of the universe approaching, where the densest regions begin to collapse and curve space itself, leading you toward the quiet, dreaming centers of galaxies, and the secrets that dwell there. You float toward the center of a galaxy, where stars crowd together and gravity grows stronger. The space here feels different, denser, almost heavy. You sense the pull even from afar, drawing everything nearby toward a point of unimaginable concentration. Here lies a black hole, a region where gravity has grown so intense that not even light can escape. Black holes form from the collapse of massive stars. When a star at least 20 times the mass of the Sun reaches the end of its life, its core cannot resist gravity's pull. It collapses inward, compressing matter into a point so dense that the laws of physics bend. This point is called a singularity, surrounded by an invisible boundary known as the event horizon, the edge from which nothing returns. You approach the event horizon, aware of the limits of space and time here. Time behaves differently near a black hole. Clocks would appear to slow, and light stretches. You sense the strange rhythm of space folding in on itself. Gravity curves not only matter, but the very fabric of reality. The closer you get, the more the familiar rules seem to soften. Despite the darkness, black holes are active. Matter spiraling toward them forms a disk, heating as it accelerates, emitting powerful X-rays and jets of energy. These processes release enormous amounts of energy into the surrounding galaxy. In a quiet way, black holes influence the formation of stars, shape galaxies, and maintain balance across cosmic scales. You notice how black holes are not destructive in the way we often imagine. They gather matter, yes, but they also redistribute energy and influence structure. They are central to the growth of galaxies, quietly organizing vast systems over millions of years. Their presence is essential, even if invisible most of the time. You think about how information behaves near a black hole. Matter falling past the event horizon carries data about its origin, its mass, charge, and spin. In a way, black holes are collectors of memory, storing the record of everything that passes through. Even the smallest particle contributes to this cosmic ledger. Time near a black hole stretches. If you were to watch a spaceship falling inward, its descent would appear to slow as it approached the event horizon. From a distance, it never seems to cross the boundary. But from the perspective of the ship itself, the journey is swift, unstoppable. You sense this duality, the way black holes reveal that time is not absolute, but relative to gravity and motion. Black holes also release energy in subtle ways. Hawking radiation, predicted by Stephen Hawking, allows black holes to slowly emit particles and lose mass over unimaginable timescales. You imagine the quiet, almost imperceptible glow of this radiation, a reminder that even the most seemingly complete darkness can have an influence. You drift past a supermassive black hole, millions or billions of times the mass of the Sun, anchoring the galaxy around it. Its gravity stabilizes the orbits of countless stars, shaping the motion of the entire system. You feel the subtle coordination, the gentle control exerted without force or intent, just physics, patient and unyielding. Even in the darkest regions, you sense the potential for creation. Black holes recycle matter. Material falling in eventually contributes to energetic jets, radiation, and processes that can trigger star formation in other regions. Destruction and creation exist together, as part of the same cosmic rhythm. You observe smaller black holes scattered across the galaxy, each formed from individual stars collapsing, yet collectively they influence the evolution of the galaxy. They may merge over time, forming larger black holes, or drift quietly, unnoticed by all but the most precise instruments. You notice the variety, the continuous activity, the balance between chaos and order. You consider that black holes challenge your understanding of space and time. They remind you that the universe is more flexible than it appears, capable of bending reality in ways that seem almost dreamlike. And in that thought, you realize that black holes are not anomalies or errors. They are natural outcomes of the same laws that govern stars, planets, and atoms. You float in the quiet space around the black hole, sensing the depth of gravity without being pulled in. You feel the hum of curved space, the tension of matter and energy, the steady pulse of the galaxy around it. The black hole is a presence, not a threat, shaping the universe quietly, patiently, without fanfare. Even though it is dark, the black hole is part of a living system. Its influence reaches far beyond its immediate surroundings, affecting star formation, galaxy evolution, and the flow of matter across millions of light-years. You sense a strange serenity in this, an order that exists even in apparent emptiness. You begin to think about the connections across time. Matter falling into a black hole carries a history. Light emitted from near the event horizon takes thousands of years to reach distant observers. The black hole is both a collector of the past and an influencer of the future, bridging immense stretches of space and time. As you drift away from the event horizon, you notice that the galaxy continues to rotate, its stars following paths influenced by the central black hole. You sense the balance maintained by its presence, the quiet order underlying the apparent chaos of countless stars moving in tandem. You feel the patience of the universe here. Black holes form, influence, and evolve over millions or billions of years. They are part of a system that maintains continuity, guiding matter and energy through processes that are slow, inevitable, and precise. And as you float past the galactic center, leaving the black hole behind, you sense the universe holding a quiet, dreaming presence. Its memory stretches through space, its influence unseen yet profound. You drift toward the outer regions, toward horizons and edges where the cosmos expands, hinting at mysteries yet to unfold, and the soft possibility of reaching the limits of everything known. You float steadily through space, moving away from the dense regions of galaxies and clusters. The emptiness grows around you, vast and calm, stretching farther than you can see. There is no visible boundary, no wall marking where the universe ends. Instead, there is only a horizon, a limit to what you can observe, a line defined by the speed of light and the expansion of space itself. This horizon is subtle. Beyond it, space continues, but the light from distant objects has not reached you yet. You sense the immensity, the incomprehensible scale of distances that grow as the universe expands. Even time feels different here, stretched, almost suspended. Events occur more slowly from your perspective because the fabric of space itself is elongating. The galaxies you pass seem smaller, more distant, drifting away from one another. The expansion is steady and gentle, driven by dark energy, an invisible force that pushes the universe outward. You feel it as a quiet, persistent presence, not violent or abrupt, but constant. Space itself carries everything forward, and you move with it. You notice that in these far regions, the universe is simpler. Galaxies are sparse, separated by enormous voids. The structures you saw earlier in the cosmic web become less pronounced. Gravity is weaker over these vast distances, and matter is thinly distributed. Yet even here, patterns persist. Galaxies still rotate, stars still shine, and the principles of physics remain consistent. As you approach the observational edge, the concept of edge becomes clearer, or perhaps more elusive. It is not a wall, a boundary, or a limit in the conventional sense. It is a horizon, a marker of what light has reached you from so far away. Beyond it, the universe continues. You cannot see it, yet it exists. You realize that what you cannot observe is no less real than what you can. You think about the earliest light, the cosmic microwave background, reaching you from billions of years ago. This light defines a sort of edge to your observable universe, yet the universe itself is vastly larger, possibly infinite. You sense both wonder and calm as you consider this. Infinity is not frightening here. It is gentle, patient, and ongoing. You float past regions where matter is sparse. Tiny clouds of hydrogen and helium drift slowly, their motion governed by gravity and cosmic expansion. Even in these isolated pockets, energy flows subtly. Light from distant galaxies reaches these clouds after millions of years of travel. You sense how time and distance work together, connecting everything, even across these extreme scales. The universe's expansion carries you farther from familiar structures. You feel the pull of gravity from clusters, but it is weak, almost imperceptible. Dark energy dominates, stretching space gently, persistently, guiding the growth of the cosmos. You sense the patience of this force. It acts without hurry, yet its effects are profound over billions of years. You observe the slow drift of galaxies toward the horizon. Some will never be reachable. Moving away faster than light can bridge the distance. You reflect on this quietly, without urgency. There is no fear in unreachable space, only the acknowledgement that the universe has boundaries of observation and experience, and beyond them, the unknown continues. Time itself feels different here. Because of the expansion, light from distant galaxies is redshifted, stretched into longer wavelengths. You feel the universe's history extending before you, a sequence of events spanning billions of years. You sense continuity, a record of every process, every transformation, preserved in light traveling across the void. You drift through the emptiness and sense the subtle hum of energy. Even near the edge, the universe is alive. Photons, neutrinos, and dark matter move through space, interacting, shaping future structure, and carrying information. You feel that the quietest regions are not empty but full of potential, waiting for processes to unfold over unimaginable timescales. You think about your connection to this vastness. The atoms in your body originated in stars. The light you see carries the memory of the early universe, and the forces that guide matter here are the same that shaped your solar system. Even at the edge, you are part of the cosmic structure, intimately linked to its unfolding story. As you float closer to the horizon, you realize that the edge is a horizon of knowledge, not of existence. Beyond it, space continues, filled with matter and energy that you may never observe. Yet this limit does not create fear. It creates wonder, curiosity, and a sense of belonging to a universe larger than your mind can fully grasp. You sense the vast calm of the universe here. Expansion continues, galaxies drift apart, light travels over unimaginable distances, and time stretches gently. This quiet emptiness is not loneliness but a resting place, a stage on which the next phases of cosmic evolution will play out. You drift slowly, carried by the expansion of space, letting your awareness stretch with the universe itself. You feel the gentle patience of the cosmos, and how every particle, every photon, every wave of energy is part of the ongoing flow. And as you linger at this horizon, you sense the echoes of the universe's earliest moments still reaching you, whispering stories from the beginning of time, reminding you that creation itself carries memory, and that even at the edge, mystery continues to unfold, waiting for the next chapter of the universe to reveal itself. You float in space, surrounded by the faint hum of photons traveling from the earliest moments of the universe. This is the cosmic microwave background, a whisper of energy left from the Big Bang. Every photon carries a memory, traveling billions of years before reaching you. You sense the history embedded in this light, a record of creation itself. The radiation is nearly uniform, yet subtle variations exist. Tiny fluctuations in density from the universe's infancy gave rise to all the galaxies, stars, and planets you see today. You feel the quiet story encoded in these differences, the early patterns that shaped everything, now stretched across vast distances, still detectable if you look closely. You notice that time stretches across these echoes. The light you see originated when the universe was only hundreds of thousands of years old. What you witness is both ancient and present, bridging epochs you can barely imagine. Each photon is a messenger, carrying the record of matter and energy in a steady flow across space. As you drift, you sense the interconnectedness of events. The Big Bang set everything in motion: matter, energy, space, and time. Tiny quantum fluctuations were magnified by inflation, giving structure to the cosmos. Over billions of years, these small differences led to the formation of stars, galaxies, and clusters. You feel the unfolding of this process in slow, continuous waves. You observe regions of slightly higher density in the cosmic background. These were the seeds of galaxies. Gravity drew matter into these areas, slowly forming clumps of stars, gas, and dust. The universe, once nearly homogeneous, became structured over time. You sense the patience and inevitability of these patterns, the quiet orchestration of energy and matter that continues even now. You notice that the echoes are still everywhere, surrounding you. They are not confined to one direction or place. They permeate all space, gently filling the voids between galaxies. You float in this soft glow, aware that the remnants of creation are always present, marking both the past and the ongoing evolution of the cosmos. The variations in this radiation are tiny but essential. Some regions are slightly warmer, some slightly cooler. These differences allowed matter to accumulate in some places while remaining sparse in others. You feel the subtle rhythm of the universe, where minor imbalances have led to the vast diversity of cosmic structures you now see. You consider how these echoes connect to everything in the universe. The stars in your own galaxy, the atoms in your body, even the light passing through distant galaxies, all are part of the sequence initiated in those first moments. The universe is both memory and continuation, carrying forward the consequences of its earliest events. You notice that over time, the cosmic background has cooled. The intense energy of the early universe has stretched and weakened as space expanded. What was once a hot, dense plasma is now a faint, nearly uniform radiation. You feel the calm that comes with this cooling, a gentle transition from violent birth to steady evolution. Even as you drift through these echoes, you sense ongoing motion. Galaxies move, stars ignite and die, and the cosmic web stretches and shifts. Yet all of this activity occurs within the context of the ancient memory carried by the radiation. You feel the continuity of time, the persistence of energy, and the deep connection between past and present. You think about the vast timescales involved. The photons you see have traveled for more than 13 billion years. You feel yourself aligned with this journey, moving with the universe's history, part of a continuum that extends from the first light to the present moment. The echoes also remind you that creation is never complete. Matter continues to collapse into stars, black holes form, galaxies collide. Energy redistributes. Even the quietest regions of space are not empty, but filled with potential, waiting for the next events to unfold. You sense the universe as a living process, evolving at every scale, while the echoes of its birth remain as guides. You notice the contrast between vast emptiness and dense clusters of matter. Both are shaped by the same early fluctuations. Both carry the imprint of creation. The universe balances these extremes, maintaining structure, motion, and energy flow. You sense this harmony and feel yourself floating within it, part of the ongoing story. Time seems to ripple through these echoes. The universe remembers its beginning not as a single moment, but as an unfolding series of events. You sense that every photon, every particle, carries a record, and that by tracing them, you can feel the sequence of creation. You float with the memory of billions of years, gentle and persistent, in a rhythm without hurry. And as you drift with these ancient photons, the universe's early song continues to surround you, whispering not just of what has been, but hinting at what is to come, the expansion, the unknown forces, and the quiet evolution of matter and energy, guiding you gently toward the next chapter of the cosmos story, where the universe grows, stretches, and dreams itself outward into new space. You float in the calm of intergalactic space, noticing how galaxies slowly drift apart. The universe stretches around you, expanding in every direction. This growth is not chaotic but steady, a gentle elongation of space itself. You sense that distances between clusters are increasing, like the slow unfurling of a cosmic fabric. This expansion is driven by dark energy, an invisible presence that exerts a subtle push on all of space. You cannot see it, yet you feel its effect in the quiet separation of galaxies. It is not forceful or sudden. It is persistent, steady, almost meditative. Over billions of years, this gentle pressure shapes the cosmos, guiding matter and energy across unimaginable distances. You notice that in this expanding universe, light travels differently. Photons from distant galaxies are stretched, their wavelengths becoming longer, a process called redshift. You sense the patience of this transformation. Light, traveling for billions of years, carries the history of distant objects, while simultaneously revealing the universe's expansion. The farther you float, the emptier space seems. Yet emptiness is not nothing. Even in these vast voids, tiny amounts of gas and dark matter persist, moving in response to gravity and the subtle push of dark energy. The universe feels balanced, both expanding and structured, both vast and intimate. You watch galaxy clusters slowly recede from one another. Some will never meet again. The space between them grows too quickly. You feel a quiet awe in this realization. The universe is both dynamic and patient, its processes unfolding without hurry, guided by fundamental forces you cannot see but can sense in the rhythm of cosmic motion. Time and expansion are deeply connected here. As the universe grows, the distances light must travel increase, and the rate at which galaxies move apart accelerates. You sense that expansion is ongoing, and yet the processes within galaxies, star formation, supernovae, planetary evolution, continue at familiar tempos. The universe maintains both change and continuity. You consider the contrast between what you can observe and what exists beyond. The observable universe is limited by the speed of light, yet space extends farther than your sight can reach. Even as galaxies recede beyond observation, they remain part of the cosmos, connected by the fabric of space-time and the subtle guidance of physical laws. Dark energy dominates this distant realm, pushing gently but unrelentingly. You feel the inevitability of its effect. Clusters drift apart, voids grow larger, and the large-scale structure of the cosmic web slowly stretches. You sense a rhythm in this expansion, a calm pulse underlying the apparent motion of galaxies. Even as space grows, local structures remain intact. Galaxies continue to rotate, stars orbit their centers, and planetary systems persist. Gravity binds them within their own neighborhoods, resisting the expansion over smaller scales. You notice the balance. Dark energy stretches space at the largest scale, while gravity preserves local cohesion. You drift past regions where galaxies are interacting. Some merge, forming larger systems. Some pass near each other, tugged by gravity yet carried apart by expansion. You sense how these opposing processes, attraction and separation, coexist, maintaining cosmic harmony across immense distances. You reflect on the universe's scale. Over billions of light-years, expansion dominates, yet locally, matter and energy maintain structure and activity. You feel connected to this rhythm, aware that the forces shaping the cosmos also govern the smallest particles, the motion of your own planet, and even the atoms within your body. You sense that expansion is not merely physical but conceptual. The universe grows not only in space but in possibility. Dark energy allows galaxies to explore distances, radiation to travel across voids, and structures to form and evolve over unimaginable time. There is space for new stars, new planets, new interactions. The universe is still in motion, still becoming. Even the quietest regions contain potential. Sparse clouds of hydrogen drift through voids, waiting for future condensation. Dark matter subtly guides their movement. You sense that creation continues quietly, at scales and distances that stretch comprehension, yet remain part of the universe's persistent unfolding. You notice the long-term implications of this gentle push. Some galaxies will never interact again. Some star systems will live isolated lives. Yet this separation is not loss. It is the natural outcome of a universe that evolves over time, expanding while preserving the small-scale dance of matter and energy. As you drift through this growing cosmos, you feel the balance between the known and the unknown. Expansion stretches space and time, yet fundamental patterns, star formation, gravity, rotation, radiation, remain constant. You sense that the universe is alive in its continuity and its growth, patiently shaping itself across eons. And as you float amidst the receding galaxies, carried by the soft, invisible hand of dark energy, you sense that the universe is not only growing outward, but also preparing for the next patterns, the next cycles of energy and matter, and the gentle unfolding of time's intricate, quiet story. You drift gently through the universe, sensing that time is not uniform. Around massive objects, space itself bends, and with it, the flow of time. Close to a star or planet, moments pass differently than in the emptiness between galaxies. You feel this subtle stretching and compression as if each heartbeat resonates with the curvature of space. The concept of time, you realize, is more fluid than you once imagined. It is not a straight arrow, but a landscape that bends under the influence of mass and energy. Massive stars, dense clusters, and black holes all shape this landscape, creating gentle dips and valleys where time flows differently. You sense that even your own perception is linked to this vast cosmic geometry. You notice light traveling near a star. Its path curves, following the warps in space. You sense that time and space are intertwined, guiding photons along invisible rails. Gravity shapes both their journey and the rhythm of events in the universe. You feel a quiet awe at how deeply connected motion, mass, and time truly are. Floating near a neutron star, you sense time slowing dramatically. Seconds stretch longer here than in distant empty space. You imagine what it would be like to live near such an object. Days might pass as hours elsewhere. Yet you feel no fear, only the calm reminder that time is flexible, adaptable, and part of the cosmic flow. Even far from massive objects, time has a shape. The expansion of the universe stretches moments in the vast emptiness between galaxies. You sense the rhythm of the cosmos, some regions flowing faster, others slower, all connected by the underlying fabric of space-time. This flexibility creates patterns across the universe, guiding matter, light, and energy in subtle, continuous ways. You reflect on causality. Even as time bends and flows differently in various locations, events follow predictable rules. Gravity, electromagnetism, and nuclear forces govern interactions consistently. The universe is ordered, even where time seems elastic. You feel the reassurance that patterns persist, shaping galaxies, stars, and the smallest particles alike. You consider the overlap of memory and future. The curvature of time allows past events to influence distant regions, carrying energy and information across space. Light from ancient stars reaches you now, telling stories from billions of years ago. You sense the interplay between what has been and what will be, a gentle loop where beginnings and endings are intertwined. Time also connects cycles. Stars are born, live, and die. Galaxies form and merge. Black holes grow and evolve. Each event occurs within a flexible temporal framework, yet the sequence is continuous. You sense the quiet pulse of this ongoing rhythm, a reminder that time is not just a measure, but a living aspect of the universe. You float near a galaxy cluster, sensing how time flows slightly differently across its span. Within it, stars move along orbital paths, planets rotate, and matter shifts, all in accordance with gravity's shaping of space-time. You feel a harmony between the micro and the macro, the same principles guiding atoms and galaxies alike. You notice that even human perception is bound by these rules. The events you observe unfold according to local curvature, and yet your consciousness, floating through this cosmic river, is attuned to the broader flow. You feel connected to both local and universal rhythms, aware that your experience of time is part of the universe's fabric. You reflect on cosmic cycles. Perhaps the universe itself follows temporal loops, expanding and contracting, with time bending gently in response to mass and energy. You sense that endings may become beginnings, and beginnings may carry echoes of endings. Time is a medium of transformation, not a fixed line, and the universe's history may be as cyclical as it is linear. Even in vast emptiness, time leaves traces. Light from distant galaxies, radiation from ancient stars, and energy streaming across space all mark moments that have passed. You float within these markers, feeling continuity and flow, aware that every event is both unique and connected to the larger temporal landscape. You feel the universe stretching time outward, expanding distances, and carrying matter gently along. Yet you also sense the inward pull of gravity, the local curvature that slows moments and shapes history. You drift between these forces, suspended in the interplay of expansion and contraction, past and future, motion and stillness. And as you float through this curved, flexible, and living river of time, you sense that moments are not lost but transformed, and that the universe, like a patient dreamer, carries memory and possibility together, guiding you gently toward the quiet night between stars, and the stillness that exists in the vast pauses of creation. You float in the quiet expanse, far from the glow of nearby stars. Here, space is vast and calm, the darkness unbroken, the silence absolute. There is no light to guide your gaze, no motion to disturb your drift. You feel the universe breathing gently, and you drift with it, part of the subtle rhythm of existence. The stillness is not empty. It carries the weight of stars yet to form, the memory of ones long gone, and the potential of galaxies slowly evolving. You sense that this quiet is as much alive as the brilliance you have seen before. Energy and matter exist even in emptiness, moving imperceptibly, following the laws of physics in slow, patient cycles. You notice how time feels different here. Without nearby stars or galaxies to anchor your perception, moments stretch. You drift along with cosmic expansion, your consciousness floating through space-time without urgency. Here, the universe seems to pause, offering a space to simply exist, free from events and motion. Even in this silence, light persists. Faint photons from distant galaxies drift past you, carrying messages from billions of years ago. You sense their subtle glow and the quiet hum of energy moving across the void. Each particle tells a story, a whisper of the vast processes unfolding in the cosmos. You think about the atoms that make up your body. They too were born in stars, carried across galaxies, scattered through space, and eventually drawn together to form life. In the stillness between stars, you sense the connection of all matter, the continuity of existence from the first moments of creation to the present. You notice cosmic dust, nearly invisible, floating in the dark. Even here, this matter will eventually condense into new stars or planets, continuing the endless cycle of birth, evolution, and decay. You sense the patience of the universe, how change can unfold over millions or billions of years, quietly and inexorably. You reflect on the nature of emptiness. It is not void, it is potential, full of waiting energy. Gravity acts even in these sparse regions, pulling particles into subtle motions, shaping structures slowly. Dark matter drifts unseen, exerting influence without presence. You feel the quiet organization that underlies apparent nothingness. The temperature here is close to absolute zero, yet you sense warmth in the flow of energy and information. Even in this extreme cold, the universe is alive in its dynamics, maintaining structure and continuity. You drift among these subtle motions, aware of the vast scale and the enduring persistence of physical laws. You notice the interplay of light and darkness. Though most stars are far away, their photons reach you over immense distances, illuminating the void with faint traces of energy. You feel the echoes of past events, a tapestry of radiation woven across space, connecting every corner of the cosmos. Even thought itself seems to slow here. You reflect gently on your journey, the galaxies you have passed, the black holes you observed, and the cosmic microwave background that hums across space. In this pause, understanding feels natural, not urgent, but patient and expansive. You sense that life, like matter, exists in cycles. Stars will ignite, burn, and fade. Galaxies will form, merge, and drift apart. You, too, are part of this rhythm, a witness to the slow, quiet dance of the cosmos. The stillness carries a lesson. Even in apparent inactivity, processes unfold, shaping the universe over unimaginable time. As you float, you feel a deep connection to the vastness around you. The emptiness is full of memory, potential, and gentle motion. Every photon, particle, and wave contributes to the ongoing story, a continuous rhythm of creation and transformation. And as you drift between stars, embraced by the quiet of the cosmos, you sense the subtle passage of light fading, the gentle approach of darkness's eventual spread, leading you softly toward the understanding of how light itself wanes, and toward the next chapter of the universe, where even brilliance must one day find its rest. You float through space, noticing the gentle dimming of stars over immense timescales. Some are massive, brilliant, and short-lived, burning their fuel quickly. Others shine with steady patience, lasting for billions of years. Yet all have an eventual end. You sense the quiet inevitability of their fading, the slow transition from light to darkness. The death of a star is not sudden. Massive stars collapse into neutron stars or black holes, while smaller ones like our Sun become white dwarfs, slowly cooling over billions of years. You feel the patience of these processes, how energy dissipates gradually, transforming into different forms while leaving a legacy in the universe. You notice that as stars die, the light they emitted continues traveling through space. Even after the star is gone, photons move across the cosmos, carrying its memory. You sense a continuity here. Endings do not erase the past. Every beam of light that reaches distant observers is a testament to the star's existence, a quiet echo of its brilliance. In regions where stars have faded, the universe grows darker, yet not empty. Interstellar gas drifts slowly, shaped by gravity and remnants of previous stellar activity. You feel the persistence of matter, how even in the absence of visible light, energy, and potential remain. The cosmos is never truly silent or still. You reflect on the balance between light and dark. Stars illuminate, giving energy and warmth, while darkness provides space, patience, and the canvas for future creation. You sense that the interplay of illumination and shadow is necessary, a rhythm woven into the fabric of space-time. Both exist in harmony, defining the cosmic story. Even as stars fade, New stars are forming elsewhere. Gas clouds collapse under gravity, igniting fusion in their cores. You feel the ongoing cycle. Light emerges, thrives, and eventually wanes, only to be replaced in another corner of the universe. The cosmos is patient, unhurried, and continuous. You consider the slow cooling of white dwarfs. They are remnants of stars like our Sun, gradually radiating their remaining energy into space. Over billions of years, they will fade to black dwarfs, nearly invisible points of matter, yet their atoms carry the history of fusion, transformation, and energy release. You sense the quiet dignity of this process. You notice the impact on galaxies. As stars die, they return material to the interstellar medium, gas, dust, and heavier elements created in their cores. This material seeds new generations of stars and planets, ensuring the ongoing cycle of creation. Light may fade, but the potential for new brilliance remains, carried in matter itself. You drift past regions of older galaxies, where star formation has slowed. The sky grows darker, dominated by faint red and infrared light from dying stars. You feel the scale of time here, how processes unfold over billions of years, almost imperceptibly. Patience is written into the universe at every level. Even the photons themselves age in a sense. As the universe expands, light stretches, becoming cooler and less energetic. Redshift carries the record of expansion, a gentle reminder that even light responds to the evolving cosmos. You feel the slow, patient hand of physics shaping everything, from photons to galaxies. You sense that the universe is learning to rest. The most energetic processes have subsided, leaving vast regions of calm and darkness. Yet this is not emptiness or finality. The quiet is full of information, memory, and potential for future activity. You feel at peace in this slow rhythm, aware of the vast patience of the cosmos. Even as light fades, the universe preserves its story. Matter, radiation, and energy continue their slow dance, shaping structures, forming seeds for new creation, and carrying information across unimaginable distances. You feel that endings are never absolute. They are transitions, gentle and inevitable. You notice that darkness is not the absence of beauty. It is a different kind of presence, a calm, patient space where the universe rests between cycles of energy and matter. You float within it, sensing continuity and balance, and understanding that even the slow death of light is part of the cosmos' ongoing harmony. And as you drift through these dimming regions, carried by the quiet passage of energy and the fading glow of distant stars, you sense the universe moving toward its next phase, where even remnants and quiet embers hold stories, and the final forms of creation drift patiently through space, preparing the way for the stillness and memory that lie ahead. You float through a universe grown cold and dark. The stars that once illuminated galaxies have faded, leaving behind white dwarfs slowly cooling toward invisibility. Over trillions of years, they will become black dwarfs, dark remnants, silent witnesses to the cosmos past. You sense the patience of these objects, how even in apparent lifelessness, their presence carries the history of energy, fusion, and transformation. In the voids between fading galaxies, gas drifts slowly, scattered remnants of long-dead stars. You feel the quiet persistence of matter, how it continues to exist and interact even when the brilliance of light is gone. The universe is not empty. It is filled with subtle motion and potential, a quiet testament to its past activity. You notice that black dwarfs are not merely absent. They are the distilled remains of countless nuclear reactions, containing the atoms forged in the hearts of long-dead stars. Carbon, oxygen, iron, and heavier elements persist, holding the memory of creation. You sense that these remnants carry the story of the universe, written into their very matter. Even in silence, energy lingers. Photons from ancient stars still traverse the cosmos, redshifted into longer, cooler wavelengths. You feel the slow hum of these signals, a cosmic whisper tracing back to earlier, brighter times. Light itself becomes a record, quietly preserving what once was. You drift past regions where entire galaxies have grown dark. Star formation has ceased, and only faint remnants remain. Yet these structures are still bound by gravity, maintaining form despite the absence of new illumination. You sense the persistence of order, how the universe maintains its architecture even as energy wanes. You consider the timescales. The processes unfolding here span trillions of years, beyond ordinary comprehension. Stars cool, black dwarfs persist, and galaxies slowly drift apart. In this slow decay, the universe exhibits patience beyond imagination. You feel your own perception stretch to match the vast rhythm of cosmic time. You notice how elements forged in long-dead stars continue their journey. Matter is recycled, drifting through space, occasionally pulled into new gravitational wells. Even in a universe where light has largely faded, the ingredients for future structures remain. You sense that creation never truly ends. It merely pauses in quiet forms. The absence of light does not equal emptiness. You feel the subtle influences of gravity, the slow motions of residual matter, and the faint energy of cosmic microwave background radiation still permeating space. These are the quiet forces that continue to shape the cosmos, guiding the drift of black dwarfs, gas, and dark matter alike. You think about entropy, the gradual movement toward uniformity and stillness. The universe cools, energies distribute evenly, and the drama of stellar life has mostly concluded. Yet there is beauty in this finality. The universe exhibits calm, patient elegance in its slow march toward equilibrium. You sense the continuity of history in these remnants. Every black dwarf, every particle of gas, every faint photon tells a story. Even in darkness, memory persists, and you feel connected to this enduring record. The universe carries the traces of all that has been, silently preserved in the structure of matter and space. You notice that the motions are subtle, almost imperceptible. Gravity gently guides black dwarfs and other remnants, forming diffuse clouds and weakly bound clusters. The universe's forces continue to operate, even when the brilliance of stars is gone. You sense the quiet choreography of matter, a dance without light, but full of order and history. Even the vast distances between remnants carry meaning. The gaps themselves are part of the structure, defining space, shaping future trajectories, and maintaining a framework for eventual interactions. You feel the harmony in this quiet architecture, where distance and decay coexist peacefully. And as you drift among these black dwarfs and faint remnants, carried by the subtle pull of gravity and the lingering energy of cosmic memory, you sense the universe preparing for its next potential chapter, where the possibility of contraction or transformation waits silently, leading you gently toward the thoughts of cosmic collapse, and the quiet curiosity of what might happen if gravity eventually takes hold again. You drift through the vast, quiet cosmos, imagining a scenario where the expansion of space reverses. Perhaps, after unimaginable eons, the push of dark energy diminishes or shifts, and gravity begins to dominate. The galaxies you once observed drifting apart now slow their course, caught in the gentle pull of universal attraction. You sense the beginnings of a cosmic turn. As matter starts to converge, distances shorten imperceptibly at first. Light that once took billions of years to travel now traverses a slightly smaller expanse. You feel the subtle change in space, a shift in the underlying rhythm of the cosmos. The universe, so long expanding, begins to contract. There is no panic, only inevitability and the quiet patience of physics at work. Galaxies begin to drift closer, slowly orbiting toward one another. Stars, star clusters, and gas clouds respond to the increasing pull of gravity. Collisions and mergers may occur on massive scales, but in this vision, there is no chaos, only an ordered, large-scale convergence. You sense the immense timescales and the calm persistence of cosmic forces guiding this contraction. You consider how time feels in this scenario. The universe itself is a clock, but as matter contracts and densities rise, local curvature of space-time increases. You feel that the flow of time may stretch differently in various regions, just as it does near massive stars or black holes. Contraction reshapes not just distances but the very rhythm of existence. As galaxies approach one another, vast cosmic structures begin to interact more closely. Gravitational tides pull on clusters, distorting their shapes, creating waves of energy and movement. You sense the delicate balance between attraction and motion, and how even in collapse, the universe remains governed by consistent physical laws. Stars themselves continue their cycles even amid contraction. Some ignite in regions of dense gas, while others finish their long-lived burn. Supernovae scatter enriched material into space, contributing to the future generations of stars that may one day form, if the cycle allows. You feel that creation and destruction are intertwined, even in this possible end scenario. You notice how energy behaves in such contraction. Photons are compressed, wavelengths shorten, and radiation density increases. You sense the universe growing warmer and more active as contraction progresses, yet still patient, slow, and ordered. The immense scales make everything gradual, almost imperceptible to any individual moment. Even as matter falls inward, black holes may merge, forming larger singularities. You feel the pull of gravity dominating local and large-scale structures alike, unifying the cosmos under a single, invisible hand. The universe's memory and potential condense into ever smaller volumes, yet the process is not violent but continuous and inevitable. You imagine the final moments of contraction. Galaxies, stars, and gas clouds converge into a denser, hotter environment. The universe's expansion halts and reverses entirely. The cosmic web compresses, and space itself bends more intensely. You sense the tension between what was once infinite and the emerging unity of all matter and energy. Yet in this contraction, there is possibility. The Big Crunch is not merely an ending, it is a preparation, a convergence that may precede another beginning. You feel the faint echo of the first Big Bang, recognizing that collapse could carry the seeds of renewal, where energy and matter recombine, and the cycle of existence begins anew. Even in imagining total collapse, the universe feels orderly, alive with latent energy, and poised for transformation. You sense the continuity of processes, how physics remains consistent, and how entropy, gravity, and energy interact to shape the cosmic fate. There is a rhythm here, slow and profound, linking endings to beginnings. And as you drift amidst contracting galaxies, feeling the gentle pull of gravity accelerating the cosmic return, you sense a quiet possibility. That endings are not final, but the prelude to rebirth, and the universe, in its patient wisdom, may one day exhale its last, only to inhale again in the eternal pulse of creation. You float in the vastness, imagining the universe's collapse reaching a point of maximum compression. Matter, energy, space, and time themselves are drawn together under gravity's patient pull. Yet within this ultimate convergence, you sense the possibility of renewal. Perhaps contraction is never truly final, but the prelude to another expansion. In this vision, the universe reaches a critical state, dense, hot, and profoundly unified. All structures, all galaxies, stars, and remnants are compressed into a cosmic core. You feel the energy humming quietly, waiting for the right conditions to unfold again. This is the Great Bounce, a cyclical heartbeat of existence, where endings lead naturally into beginnings. As you drift closer to this imagined core, you notice patterns emerging from the compression. Forces act in predictable ways, shaping matter and energy even under extreme density. You sense the continuity of physical laws, gravity, electromagnetism, and quantum rules persisting even in the universe's densest moments. Nothing is lost, everything is transformed. Time and space themselves behave differently at this scale. Moments stretch and curve, energy fluctuates, and space folds back upon itself. You feel the fabric of the universe bending, preparing to expand again. This is not violent, chaotic destruction. It is careful, measured, almost meditative in its precision. The potential for a new Big Bang lies in the energy and matter concentrated at the universe's core. Tiny fluctuations, minute instabilities, and quantum effects may trigger the release of stored energy. You sense that from compression arises expansion, and from endings arises beginnings, like the slow exhale and inhale of a cosmic breath. You imagine the first sparks of a new expansion. Space itself stretches outward, and matter follows, forming new structures in the unfolding cosmos. You float with this process, feeling the rhythm of birth and growth repeating on unimaginable scales. Galaxies, stars, and planets emerge again, carrying the memory of previous cycles in their atoms and energy. You notice that even in repetition, every cycle is unique. Variations in density, fluctuations in energy, and the arrangement of matter create subtle differences from one universe to the next. You sense the creativity inherent in repetition, that even patterns may evolve, change, and surprise, all within the patient framework of cosmic rules. You consider the flow of entropy. Each cycle allows energy to disperse, matter to organize, and the universe to explore new possibilities. Even as the universe repeats, it accumulates subtle differences, carrying a history that informs its next phase. You feel connected to this ongoing story, part of the eternal rhythm of becoming. The great bounce is not immediate. The expansion is gradual, measured, and deliberate. Galaxies drift apart, stars ignite, and planets form. You sense the continuity, the gentle unfolding of space and time, and the patient emergence of complexity from the compacted core. It is as though the universe inhales slowly before exhaling once more into life. Even the faintest remnants of the previous universe persist, black dwarfs, particles, and energy traces, subtly influencing the new cycle. You sense that nothing is ever truly gone, and that the universe is a repository of its own history, ready to be reborn in countless forms. You notice the cycle reflected in smaller scales as well. Stars are born, live, and die. Matter condenses and disperses. Galaxies merge and drift apart. The same pulse echoes from the largest structures down to the atoms and photons that pass through your consciousness. You feel the universality of this rhythm, an eternal heartbeat woven into everything. And as you drift with this new expansion, carried by the gentle unfolding of space and the patient rhythm of energy and matter, you sense that the universe itself breathes, and that each cycle, every collapse and rebound, carries within it the quiet possibility of memory, growth, and transformation, leading you softly toward the smallest whispers of creation and the quantum murmurs that vibrate through all existence. You drift into the microscopic realm, where the rules of the large-scale universe transform into something subtle and strange. Here, particles do not follow straight paths but exist as possibilities, flickering into reality for brief moments before vanishing again. You sense a rhythm in this fluctuation, a quiet pulse underlying all that exists. Even in this tiniest scale, energy persists. Fields hum softly, vibrating across the void, guiding the appearance and disappearance of particles. You notice the parallels between this world and the vast cosmos. Just as galaxies move and interact, quantum fields interact invisibly, shaping the universe in ways both delicate and profound. You imagine a single particle, appearing and disappearing in a gentle dance. It carries information, interacts with neighbors, and obeys probabilities rather than certainties. You sense that the rules here are different, yet they are consistent, forming the foundation upon which all matter and energy rest. You reflect on the uncertainty inherent in this realm. Position, momentum, and energy are not fixed, but fluctuate according to probabilistic laws. You feel that the universe, even at its smallest scales, is alive with potential. Possibility itself is a force, shaping outcomes, guiding matter, and contributing to the ongoing story of existence. Even emptiness is not empty. The quantum vacuum seethes with virtual particles, energy briefly appearing before dissolving back into nothingness. You sense the subtle activity that persists beneath apparent calm, a quiet hum connecting the tiniest scales to the largest structures of galaxies and clusters. You notice entanglement, the invisible link between particles separated by vast distances. You feel the universe stretching across space and time, connecting its components in ways that are immediate and inexplicable, yet fundamentally true. This connection mirrors the web of galaxies you have seen, linking matter across unimaginable distances. You reflect on how quantum fluctuations might have seeded the cosmos. Tiny variations in energy during the earliest moments of the universe amplified over billions of years, creating stars, galaxies, and clusters. You feel the quiet influence of these infinitesimal differences, shaping the grand architecture of the universe with subtle precision. Even observation matters here. The act of measuring, of interacting, changes the behavior of particles. You sense that reality is participatory, that consciousness and existence are intertwined in a subtle dialogue. You float within this delicate interplay, aware of the unseen forces guiding matter and energy. You consider the dual nature of particles and waves. Light is both, electrons are both, and even you are connected to this duality. You feel the universe's flexibility, how matter can shift between forms, how the same entity can exist in multiple possibilities simultaneously. The cosmos is full of hidden layers, waiting for attention and awareness. You sense that all scales are connected. Quantum fluctuations, though tiny, ripple outward, influencing the formation of stars, planets, and galaxies. The small and the large are interwoven, each echoing the other in patterns of rhythm, probability, and energy. You feel part of this intricate weave, a participant in the quiet murmurs of creation. Even as you drift, you sense the impermanence and persistence of existence. Particles vanish, energy shifts, and probabilities resolve, yet the universe continues its ongoing dance. You feel the balance of change and continuity, the silent pulse of becoming that underlies everything. You notice that this flickering, probabilistic world is not chaotic. Beneath uncertainty lies order, a structure that enables galaxies, stars, and life itself. You sense the quiet intelligence of physical law, persistent and reliable, shaping possibilities into reality. And as you float among the whispers of quantum fields, carried by their subtle hum and the infinite dance of appearing and disappearing particles, you sense that the smallest vibrations mirror the vast cosmic rhythms, and that the universe, in its tiniest whispers, is preparing the memory of all things, gently leading you toward the larger traces of history, and the light that remembers everything. You drift through the vast universe, sensing that everything carries a trace of its past. Every photon moving through space has journeyed for millions or even billions of years, carrying with it the story of where it came from. You feel the weight and delicacy of this memory, a persistent record of the universe's unfolding. Even the smallest atoms are storytellers. Hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, iron. Each element is a remnant of a process, a star's life, a fusion reaction that occurred long before your existence. You sense that the matter in your own body is part of this narrative, a living connection to cosmic history. Light itself is a messenger. The faint glow of distant galaxies is a photograph of the past, revealing events long gone. You feel that the universe preserves these moments not by insistence, but by quiet persistence. Each photon remembers where it originated, and carries that memory through the silent corridors of space. You notice that this memory is not static. Atoms combine and separate, molecules form, and particles interact, transforming the story continually. You feel the dynamic nature of cosmic memory, how events are recorded, altered, and passed along, yet never completely erased. The cosmic microwave background is a particularly gentle reminder of the universe's first moments. You sense its soft hum as the afterglow of creation, a memory of light from the infant universe. You float within this glow, feeling the quiet persistence of the very first seconds, preserved across time and space. You reflect on how gravity and motion shape memory. Stars, planets, and galaxies move, merge, and rotate, imprinting their histories onto space itself. Orbits, clusters, and galactic flows are like records etched into the cosmos, persistent patterns that testify to what has come before. Even energy carries memory. Light slows, redshifts, and stretches with the expansion of space, preserving the record of distance and time. You feel that nothing is ever truly lost. Energy simply transforms, adjusting to new circumstances while holding the echoes of its origin. You think about life as a form of memory. Consciousness, awareness, and observation are ways for the universe to experience and remember itself. You sense that by noticing, by perceiving, you are participating in this ongoing preservation, weaving your own presence into the cosmic narrative. You notice that time itself acts as a recording mechanism. Moments flow into one another, yet the effects of each event ripple outward, influencing what follows. You feel the subtle layering of history upon history, where the past and present intertwine in quiet, intricate patterns. You sense that the universe's memory is inclusive. Black holes, neutron stars, and even the remnants of long-dead galaxies preserve information in ways that may be imperceptible yet real. You feel that nothing is entirely lost, even collapse, silence, and darkness hold traces of existence. You reflect on the interconnectedness of all things. Photons, atoms, energy, and even consciousness link events across space and time. You feel a personal connection to this memory, recognizing that your own matter, your own awareness, participates in the eternal recording of the universe. Even in the coldest, darkest regions, memory persists. The faint drift of cosmic dust, the gentle tug of gravity, the movement of distant galaxies, all carry imprints of prior states. You feel enveloped in the universe's subtle archive, each particle a page in an ongoing story. And as you float through these layers of memory, carried by the light, matter, and energy that preserve the universe's past, you sense that even your existence is remembered, and that all things, past and present, contribute quietly to the unfolding story, guiding you gently toward the universe's invisible forces, and the persistent, subtle push of expansion into the unknown. You drift through the universe, imagining a future where expansion slows, falters, and finally reverses. Gravity, patient and persistent, begins to dominate. Galaxies once drifting apart now edge toward one another. The fabric of space itself begins to bend inward, folding subtly like soft silk, gently altering the rhythm of time. Even moments feel different here. Past, present, and future seem to brush against one another as space contracts. You sense time bending around massive structures, flowing differently depending on location and gravitational intensity. Events begin to converge, and the distinction between before and after softens. You notice galaxies moving closer, stars edging nearer, and dark voids shrinking. The universe is patient in its collapse, a slow, almost meditative process. You sense that endings are not abrupt but drawn out, allowing every particle, photon, and atom to follow its natural path toward convergence. As matter compresses, energy density rises. Photons shift to shorter wavelengths, and radiation becomes more intense. You feel the universe warming in its inward motion, yet the process is calm, unhurried, and inevitable. Even in contraction, the cosmos exhibits balance and elegance. You reflect on the cycles that might emerge. The folding of time does not erase history, it layers it. Events accumulate, overlap, and interact, creating intricate patterns. You sense that the universe is preserving information even as it compresses, ensuring continuity and coherence. You imagine the distant future of black holes and remnants. They too move closer, merging gradually, contributing to the increasing density of the cosmos. You feel the subtle, invisible hand of gravity orchestrating these motions, guiding the universe toward a potential singularity without chaos, only inevitability. Even in this folding, life and matter continue their rhythms. Planets orbit collapsing stars, photons traverse contracting space, and the ghostly echoes of long-dead stars persist. You sense that the universe, while approaching a possible end, retains its elegance, patience, and the memory of all that has existed. You notice that time itself behaves in a layered way. Moments from the distant past may influence what unfolds next, while the present responds to the subtle gradients of compression. You feel the elasticity of reality, its ability to fold, stretch, and create connections across what was once linear. You reflect on how endings and beginnings are intertwined. Contraction does not erase the potential for creation. The dense, folded universe is a prelude to expansion, a compressed seed holding within it the possibility of a new Big Bang. You sense the gentle inevitability of cycles, collapse leading naturally to renewal. Even the smallest particles play their part. Quantum fluctuations, energy variations, and probabilistic events continue, unaffected by scale. You feel that the microcosm mirrors the macrocosm, that the dance of atoms reflects the movement of galaxies, and that both contribute to the universe's potential to restart. You sense that this folding is a patient process. Nothing is rushed, nothing forced. The universe compresses in quiet harmony, aligning energy, matter, and space for a possible new beginning. You feel suspended in this patient convergence, aware of both ending and preparation. And as you drift through this inward curving space, feeling time fold gently like silk around you, you sense the delicate balance between ending and renewal, and the quiet anticipation of a universe poised to breathe outward once more, where the next Big Bang may emerge softly, carrying within it all that has come before, and the potential for everything that is yet to be. You drift through the calm after contraction, sensing that the universe has completed one cycle and is ready to begin anew. The compressed energy and matter, the quiet memory of what came before, all ripple outward as the first spark of a new expansion. You feel the gentle pulse of creation as it unfolds again, slowly, deliberately, like a heartbeat reawakening. In this new cosmos, light emerges gradually, spreading across space and illuminating structures yet to form. Galaxies are born once more, stars ignite in distant clouds of gas, and planets coalesce around newborn suns. You feel a sense of familiarity in the laws that govern them, gravity, motion, and energy, yet the configuration is entirely new. Each cycle carries echoes of the past while allowing for unique variation. You notice that matter itself remembers. Atoms from previous universes, dispersed through contraction and collapse, participate in forming new stars and planets. You sense the continuity of existence, how even after endings, the building blocks of life and energy persist, ready to participate in creation again. You feel connected to this vast cycle, a participant in the universe's eternal rhythm. Light spreads through the newborn space, scattering across nascent galaxies, illuminating clouds of hydrogen and helium. You sense the energy warming space, encouraging fusion and the formation of the first stars in this cycle. Even photons carry echoes of the past, subtly influenced by what came before, while contributing to the future. You drift among these forming stars, sensing the quiet balance between expansion and gravity, energy and matter. Each new star has the potential to burn brilliantly or fade slowly, creating elements and energy that will shape future cycles. You feel the patient rhythm of creation, unfolding on timescales beyond imagination, yet intimate in its patterns. Even the smallest particles participate in this rebirth. Quantum fluctuations seed structures, energy interacts probabilistically, and forces converge to guide matter into forms capable of hosting complexity. You sense that every vibration, every flicker of energy, contributes to the shaping of this new universe. You reflect on your own place within this grand cycle. Your consciousness, your body, and even your awareness are connected to the same laws and matter that govern galaxies and stars. You feel that each heartbeat mirrors the pulse of the cosmos, that every breath aligns with the rhythm of expansion and contraction, birth and rebirth. The universe hums with quiet potential. Energy flows into new configurations, patterns emerge from previously uniform fields, and structure begins to take form. You sense the symmetry of cycles, creation, collapse, and renewal, and recognize that this pattern is woven into all scales, from galaxies to atoms, from the vast expanse to the tiny spark of your own awareness. You notice the continuity of memory in this rebirth. Every photon, atom, and particle carries information from previous cycles, influencing how the new universe unfolds. You feel the gentle inheritance of all that has come before, and the infinite possibilities of what will emerge. This memory is subtle, yet pervasive, a quiet guide for the formation of new structures. You sense that the universe is alive with potential, a living rhythm of energy, matter, and time. Every collision, every fusion, every movement contributes to the ongoing story. You float within this pulse, aware that you too are part of it, that the same forces that guide galaxies also shape your existence, thoughts, and dreams. You notice the harmony between endings and beginnings. Collapse gives way to expansion, darkness yields to light, silence transforms into song. You feel the continuity of cycles, each one unique yet connected, carrying forward memory, energy, and the laws of the cosmos. And as you drift within this newborn cosmos, feeling the gentle emergence of light, matter, and structure, you sense the universe breathing again, and you realize that each beat of your heart mirrors a big bang. Each breath echoes the expansion of space, and within you, the eternal rhythm of creation continues, quietly, endlessly, without end.